Hi, this is Dr. Darren Schmidt at the Nutritional Healing Center of Ann Arbor, and this video is about the best diet. The best diet is called diet variation. And so you already know about low carb eating, high fat ketosis eating. There's of course vegetarianism, and there's all the possibilities are endless. But the basic rule is you want to get into fat burning mode, which is called ketosis, a minimum 4 days a year. And that's a bare minimum. And now you may be stuck in sugar burning mode, but there's ways to get through that, and I'm going to go over this here, and it has to do with varying your diet. So depending on your condition, if you have heart disease or cancer, you want to be in ketosis every day for a number of months. But you don't want to be in it for too long, like 2 years. So you get in and out of ketosis. If you're an endurance athlete, you get in ketosis every day and you get out of it every day. So here's this rule. This is called the 5-1-1 rule, and this helps you get into ketosis. It's 5 days of low carb, high fat, intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is where you skip one meal a day. For example, breakfast. So if you eat from noon till 6, and then you don't eat any food for 18 hours, although you can have fat and salt. So it's really a carbohydrate and protein fast. All of this is a carbohydrate and protein fast. You can still have fat. Okay, so 5 days of intermittent fasting, low carb, high fat. 1 day of fasting, 24 hours. Again, still have fat and salt and water. And then 1 day of high carb eating. So you have over 100 grams of carbs on that day. And that helps actually lose weight. So your body may think it's in starvation mode for the first 6 days. But when you have 1 day of high carb, the body will drop a bunch of water out of the fat cells. So this is an example of diet variation. Intermittent fasting is another example where you're skipping a meal every day, and you can change up what meal that is. So it could be breakfast for 4 days, and it could be dinner for the next 3. Or you could just do intermittent fasting 4 days out of the week, and then normal eating 3 days out of the week. You're just changing it up. Block fasting means you skip several days in a row. Again, you still have fat, salt, and water. You can have bone broth too. So 4 days in a row or 7 days in a row. If you do some block fasting 7 days in a row, that reduces your chance of cancer by 99%, according to the research. So that a 7-day block fast would be really good. And if you're interested in doing that, you got to research on how to do it. Okay, seasonal changes. I'm bringing this up because our ancestors, they had to change their diet based on what was available. So they may have had fruit and vegetables in the summertime, in the fall, but in the wintertime they had animals and dairy, and that was it. Late winter, maybe they had no food. So the seasonal changes were very healthy for them. Their body had to adapt, and our bodies are designed to adapt. So right now we're very used to having food anytime we want to, and that hunger feeling would make us run to the kitchen and get the next bite of food. So, but our bodies are used to being hungry, and it's used to not having food for days on end. And it's a healthy change. It's a healthy thing to go through. Okay, one fundamental rule: no junk food. So you can't go on a diet variation plan and say Dr. Schmidt wants me to eat junk food, white bread, candy. No junk food ever. Okay, and then no junk food ever. See my video on how to eat or when to eat during the holidays. And then ketosis, 16 months with a question mark. I wrote this because I was listening to a podcast a couple weeks ago, and there's a guy talking about his experiments with diet. He went on a diet for a year, 2 years. He would switch up different diets to see how his body responded. Well, he did 16 months of ketosis, and he was complaining about how bad he felt once he got off of it. He gained 25 pounds, his joints were achy, he was tired and depressed. Well, the problem is he was in ketosis for 16 months. That's the problem. Hardly anybody has ancestors that did ketosis for 16 months. Maybe the Eskimos did. But you want to go in ketosis, then you get out of it. You could do this on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, quarterly basis. But you go in and out, in and out. You don't stay in it forever. And then he wrote macrobiotic down here, and also veganism. So I've had plenty of people tell me that these are healthy. They feel better when they go on a macrobiotic diet, which is a high grain diet. And it's kind of based off the idea that there's certain foods that the earth grows where you live. Well, that's, depends on where you live. And so there's people that do a macrobiotic grain diet, and they feel great for a couple months, but then it's not healthy after a while. So there's a famous basketball player a while ago. His name was Bill Walton. He was a center, I think, for the Boston Celtics. He went on a macrobiotic diet and he stayed on it. And he would jump on the basketball court and land and break his foot bones would break. His bones were too thin because he was depleting his body of essential nutrients that you find in animal products, fat and protein. So that's just an example of being on a diet for too long. And then veganism. I had a woman once I met at a convention. She had no muscles on her shoulders. She couldn't lift her arms up. She was a vegan for 25 years, and she thought it was healthy. Well, it's not healthy. Her body was eating itself away. So again, plenty of people say they feel healthy on a vegan diet, or they feel healthy on a ketosis diet. Good, but don't be on it forever. You got to get back and you got to change it up. You got to vary it. So you go from high fat ketosis into a high produce, high nutrient produce type diet that's going to be higher in carbs, and you go back and forth. The body needs this. You need to change it up. All right, so if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you know anybody that is struggling with their diet, trying to figure out what they need, please send this video to them. They need to go into ketosis and out of it, and this will help educate them on what they need. Thanks.